Where do things stand with Adrian this week? How much was he able to do yesterday?
He was able to go through his non-contact. He's got the blue jersey on, so we're working through that part of it. You know, thankfully his feet and his head weren't hurt, so he's been able to fly around, show all that speed that we're starting to like.
I was thinking that maybe next week would be the more realistic week to have him back. Is that what this week seems to be suggesting?
It seems that way, but you never know.
Foster is named NFL Defensive Rookie of the Month. Did that kind of surprise you, or does that kind of fall in line with what you've been seeing during those 3 games?
It falls in line for sure. You know, when we drafted him, I thought if he could stay healthy, he'd be the Rookie of the Year, no question. I mean, the defense is built for linebackers to run and hit and get tackles. So for him to gobble him up the way he has, it's not a surprise. He's a very talented, instinctual player. He's very explosive. So. Sky's the limit. He hasn't even scratched the surface, too. If he continues going the way he has, it's only going to get better.
What are some of the things he needs to work on?
Reuben, the consistency, like all rookies. Continue working his hands and block protection. These linemen get on you faster. They're much stronger than they were in college, so you can't always just dip and rip. You got to use your hands to create extension and get them off you. And his footwork in the box. But other than that, just play recognition and instincts and all that stuff that comes with it. It's going to take reps, but shoot, everyone has a little bit to improve on too. So, but he's going in the right direction. That's a cool thing.
Exum and Hall, I think, played almost the same amount of snaps Sunday. Is it something where you're trying to find their skills and put them in a position to succeed, or is it kind of competition for snaps going forward?
A little bit of both. I know Leon was getting out there some because we had a little bit of a dime package going on with Seattle too. So there's trying to utilize their skill sets to the best of our ability, and then also getting them both on the football field in certain situations. Exum has only been here for a couple of weeks. Leon's been a little bit longer and has played a little bit more football. So give us a good look at Exum, and then also Leon. You know, he's been around, he's been playing good, and he knows the game, so he can play really good back there.
How far back do you go in looking at the Bears' offense and Mitchell Trubisky? Do you go back to week 1, or do you start, like last 3 or 4 games, or how does that work?
I watch every game. The amount that we actually give to the players may not cover that much ground, but I'll watch every game, every preseason game that he was in, and so you try to get as much information as you can.
Okay, so how have you seen him progress from week to week, or is he pretty much the same guy as he was when he started out the year?
He's progressing. I do think Dal Loggins is a really good offensive coordinator and a very good teacher, and that staff, they've got some good things going on that side of the ball, and I know they may not like the results that are from a statistical standpoint, but I don't think stats always tell a story of where a team is going. So I do think they're progressing, and they are getting better, and it's no different than us. I mean, we're on that same path. Our stats may not show it, but I do think we're going in the right direction, and that's kind of the theme I see with them.
Where do you see it specifically from Trubisky?
From a play standpoint, you know, it looks like he's getting a little bit more comfortable in the pocket. He throws on schedule. He's when you watch him going through his reads, he's very quick to make his reads, and the ball comes out of his hands pretty quick. So he's in that regard, it seems like he's being able to read and process defenses a little bit quicker.
Are you able to go back and check out the scouting reports some of the personnel department and offensive coaches did on him leading into the draft? Or is that too far in the rearview mirror now?
That'd probably be too far in the rearview mirror. I have not looked at those from a college standpoint. Only college tape I saw of him was when he played against Stanford.
You mentioned Colbert's injury won't affect him during the non-contact drills. How will you determine if he's ready to play on Sunday? What will be the test for him?
Give that to me one more time. I'm sorry.
Colbert, you mentioned his thumb won't affect him during the non-contact drills in practice. So what will you need to see? How will you decide whether he can play? What will be the test for him?
It's really gonna come down to the trainers and Ferg and those guys and how stable that thumb is. To be honest with you, there's risk obviously, and whether or not how much restriction he would have with a brace on and all that stuff. So that one is I'm gonna leave for Ferg and Coach Shanahan.
How would you assess Cassius Marsh's play, especially in setting the edge? I
thought he brought a lot of energy. Plays with a tremendous amount of effort and grit. I thought he did a good job setting edges. He was up on Dwayne Brown most of the game in pass rush situations, so he had some success, but Dwayne is one of the better ones. So he's going to get hopefully another chance this week. But he brought a lot of good things this week in terms of just the amount of energy, the work ethic, and the things that we stand for as a defense.
Are you settled on Reuben as Will in base just for the rest of the season? Is that going to?
If we can help it, for sure. If we can help it, we'll maintain what we are on defense right now from a player standpoint. Hopefully we don't have to shuffle anymore. And Brock is doing a great job communicating to the defense, getting all 11 guys lined up. There's a calmness with him in there right now. And he's actually playing some pretty good football too. So between him and Reuben starting to get comfortable with each other, communicating and speaking about what they see on tape, that's starting to evolve. I mean, it's really like week 4 for those two in my mind. So you're only going to see them get better as this year progresses.
Has Brock, in a sense, kind of allowed Reuben to play faster and not think as much?
For sure, it's between Brock, Eric Reed, and Reuben himself. Now he studies and he puts in the work too, but just having communicating and talking to each other is such an underrated part of this game. And when you can have that continuity week in and week out, you only get more and more comfortable with what you're hearing from each other. And with Reuben, just one, getting reps for himself, and 2, the communication part, being able to have just a calm pre-snap setting, I guess you could say, is allowing all of them to play fast. So it's been good for him.
What does Aaron Lynch need to do to get on the field to be active on Sundays?
Keep working to get healthy, keep grinding. Yeah, you're going to see Aaron on the field. He had a really good day of practice yesterday, and so hopefully he can stack it up again today. So he's going in the right direction. He's got a great attitude, and he's doing all the right things. And so he's still working through what he's got, and he's actually working and showing that he wants to get on the field too. So that's cool.
Are you saying he will be on the field Sunday?
An issue over time. Was that? Is he having to lose weight after the injury? I mean, where is he?
No, he looks like he's in pretty good shape. He looks like he's in really good shape, to be honest with you. So I don't know if shape is the issue. I don't even think there is an issue. It's just him continuing to work through whatever through his ailment.
Robert, are you saying he will be on the field on Sunday?
No, we're working through that also.
Okay.
Your impressions of Solomon coming back last week?
Solomon came back again. He's played with the same energy and effort that we're used to. Do I think there's a little bit of rust that he had to knock off? There is, and so I'm expecting some good improvement from him this week too. So
You were in the draft room when the 49ers made the trade with the Bears. What was your reaction to that trade, and when you selected Solomon right after that? What were your thoughts?
as a defensive coach, pumped, man. I got a hell of a ball player. So yeah, always. You always want. Yeah, I was pumped. Just give you a short answer on that one.
But what purpose does it serve when you have your defensive lineman dropping into coverage?
For the most part, defensive linemen dropping in coverage can serve 2 purposes. One, when you're trying to bring an overload to one side to overload a protection. And then the second part is when you're trying to rush 3 and just kind of plug the middle of the field to eliminate any crossers or any low holes. Because in our natural 3-deep defense, there's a void in the middle. And to be able to plug that part of the field on occasion. So that's basically what the main purposes are.
Does that work for you? I mean, obviously when it doesn't work and there's a defensive lineman chasing down a receiver, it stands out. But when there's when that player isn't targeted, it doesn't show up necessarily to us.
It does.
So does it work for you?
No, that's good. We've had 2 interceptions on drop calls. Both of Ray Armstrong's interceptions came on drop calls. We've had a couple of pass breakups and a couple of 3rd down conversions that we were able to get off the field with drop calls. But you're right. When it doesn't work, it looks terrible. Last week we were inside 4 minutes, so we ran a run stunt to see if we can create a TFL to get the ball back for our offense. And Ronnie Blair gets stuck on Jimmy Graham. Not what you want, not what you called it. But at that point in the game, we needed to create something, and they caught us. But there's a lot of situations where it works. There's some where it doesn't. But it's a high risk, high reward play, and we've had some really good success. And you saw last week with what happened to Ronnie, which I feel terrible for him. But we felt at that time, inside 5 minutes, try to get the ball back for our offense, wreak havoc in the backfield. Maybe we can create a turnover or something. And they caught us in a stunt. So.
You seemed to rush 3 in that game more than you normally do. What was the reasoning behind that? Were you trying to protect your free safety who hadn't played much?
No, you know, Seattle knows our 3-deep scheme. They know our scheme, and again, just trying to plug the middle, take the middle away from Russell, and let pass rush lanes move on before we brought him back into the pressure. So there was, I'm not sure how many we did. You know, to be honest, like from a 3-man rush standpoint, I think we're in the bottom half of the league in terms of the amount of times we actually do it. You know, I can't give you the exact number. I think we're at 19th in the league, which was 18 teams actually rush more than, or 3 more than we do. But yeah, it was just a matter of taking away the middle of the field.
What is your assessment of Doomerville's season?
Doom, tremendous veteran leadership, and he's provided some juice off the edge for us. I wish we could find more opportunities for him. You know, unfortunately, the way the score's been over the course of the year, he hasn't been able to get as many opportunities. In his opportunities, he has been effective, and he has had some sacks. I know he wants to kick himself. He's had 2 sacks, one that was called back on a penalty, and then the one yesterday or on Sunday that he actually had Russell in his hands and he slipped out of it. That I'm sure he'd love to have back. But he's been good. He's been a tremendous help in that D-line room too, and a very good asset on the football field too.
Lack of snaps is mostly a function, you're saying, of you guys being behind and.
Yeah, for sure.
Offense try to do to you? What's their
Dow Loggins, our coordinator, does a great job putting you in binds. He understands your scheme, and he understands what defenses are trying to do, and he's going to stress the defense in the pass game. He'll stress you in the run game too. So he does a very good job designing plays that put stress on the defense. And so we've got to be fundamentally sound, and we've got to be very disciplined in what we're doing, and just play fast. So it's going to be a good challenge this week for sure.
Is running the scout team for you guys this week?
Yeah.
Is he providing a nice facsimile of Trubisky?
I like Nick, man. He diced us up yesterday, so he does a good job, man. All those quarterbacks, they do a really good job. But he's a professional quarterback, so you'd expect nothing less from him.
Seems just size-wise and movement-wise a good approximation of what you're going to be going against this week. Is that what you see?
Yeah, I mean, Nick's got good zip. I can't give you a full scouting report, but I do know that we all love him. We all think he does a really good job. So.